So our next speaker is not Nacho Villoch. I'm sure I've mispronounced his name, also known as Ignacio Villoch.
Perfect.
He is the Chief Inspiration Officer, a nice job title, the Chief Inspiration Officer from Kamizawa 2020. His biography lists a lot of C words. He's busy with conferences, courses and lectures, coaching, cool hunting, and creative writing. And there's a few non-C words. He's a beta tester, a storyteller, and a keynote inspirational speaker, which we're now going to experience for ourselves. Nacho, take it away, surfing the next wave, 21st century Renaissance.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, David.
Let's get his slides up on the screen, please.
Thank you very much, David, for this warm welcome word. Actually, I am a peripatetic thinker, so I think better when I move around. So I will move around slightly.
Need a microphone.
Okay. No, I have already one of these mics. It's already covered up. So yes, I'm going to be talking about surfing the next wave. I love surfing. I have enjoyed most of the most memorable moments of my life between waves. Sometimes with a surfing board, sometimes with a kayak, sometimes just with my body surfing. And it's amazing. The key for surfing a wave is anticipate what it is going to be, is to read the patterns of the waves. The waves are coming from far away, you're looking at the horizon, and you identify like a hump, it's coming to you. And that's the key to anticipate. If you are too close to the beach, you will get all the foam of the breaker that the wave has already broken and has dissipated all the energy. If you go too far away, the wave is still too flat, hasn't got enough energy. And it's a matter of energy. And that's have to do a lot with reading the future, with identifying those patterns that are coming, and be ready, be prepared to get all that energy. That's why I chose this metaphor for what is coming ahead. You already introduced me. I just ask Google if you want to know anything else about me. Just let me mention this. Una breve historia del futuro is my latest book. Is about a short story of future. It was just published 2 weeks ago. You can get it online on Amazon, on digital, on paper anyway. But I think it's very much in tune what is going on. So far, it's only in Spanish. Well, depending on how successful it works, that the publisher will do it in English. Anyway, let's move on what really matters. Let's move on the next wave. We have been surfing the pandemic wave, the different pandemic waves, with more or less success. The first one got us unprepared. We were not prepared, caught us by surprise, and it was a mess. The second one, we have protocols, and we have face masks, and we have alcohol, and we did so far so good. Then the third, and the fourth, and the fifth, and now we have vaccines, now we have protocols, we are more or less beginning to travel, so we are surfing that wave again because we can anticipate. Obviously, as happens with the future is already here, is not equally distributed. In Europe, we are seeing an 80%, 70% of vaccination rate. In Africa, it's only 2%. So if this is a global pandemic, there are different waves at different speeds in different countries. But we have now this economic recession wave that we know is coming, but we are pretty optimistic on how we will recover it. At least in Europe, we are seeing all these next-gen funds with all this transition energy, this digital transformation. There is a massive inflow of money, of cash, also heating up the economy with strong inflation, but we know how to surf all those economic waves. But then we have this climate change wave that is coming ahead, and we have many signals not to deny. Even the most negationist, the most earth flatteners, they are saying that, well, we cannot deny all these extreme weather patterns that we are seeing all over the world, and that has to do much with this climate change. And then we are foreseeing this biodiversity collapse wave. It might be a big wave. And it was very interesting to connect with the previous presentations on how artificial and nature blend together, and how are we able to manage sustainable way of feeding 9 billion, 10 billion, or 11 billion people that we will be during this century. So all these waves are coming, and we'd rather have our surfboard ready and anticipate their impact, because they are going to transform the planet where we live. And so far, we only have one planet. And now we are exploring Mars just in case, but it doesn't seem that, we cannot move 9 billion people to Mars right away. I use this picture because last June, July, Forbes magazine made a special issue on futurists. They listed me among the top 40 futurists in Spain, and we built up some very interesting conversation on what the future is coming, what the potential, the preferable, the impossible, the improbable futures that we are building. And something that we have in common is that you cannot you cannot foretell the future, you cannot adivinate, you cannot guess. This is not a matter of a crystal ball. But you can create the future. We design the future, and we design futures that design us, and we create them, and we create it the way we believe they're going to be. If you are optimistic, if you believe in a utopian future, well, probably you can make it that way. If you feel negative, if you feel pessimistic, you feel it's going to be a dystopia, probably it will be, you make it worse. So when I started working on innovation about 15 years ago, we were working on Horizon 2020. It was something mythical. It was almost something aspirational, something that was like that horizon that we were never going to reach. And we were imagining many things, and we were designing business and designing frameworks in order to anticipate how 2020 was going to be. 2020 is already past. And by the way, nobody saw a pandemic coming. So thanks God, sometimes perspective fails, and thanks God, perspective fails a lot. But help us to anticipate, to design scenarios, to generate emotional and rational replies, emotional mechanisms in order to be prepared for what was coming. Now, in 2021, we have another horizon ahead. We have this 2030 horizon. I'm glad to see Rohit mentioning the SDGs, Sustainable Development Goals, the Agenda 2030, because that's our future. And that's an ideal future, an optimistic future with 17 goals, 169 initiatives that eventually, if we do it right, this will be a beautiful planet. If we do not right, we will have those waves coming in a disorderly manner. And other countries, some countries are working on the 2040. They are designing horizons. This is from Singapore. 2 years ago, I was invited to take part in a focus group from the Singapore government with the Land Transportation Authority. And there are some countries that are dedicating the best resources, the best talent, the best money, the best budget in order to design their future. Obviously, this makes a big difference between those countries, those people, those societies that are making things happen and the ones that things are going to happen to them. They are anticipating the next wave, they are ready, they are building, they are reading the pattern, mixing technology, mixing demography, mixing economics, mixing ecology. They are creating a vision and they are making it happen. I think something, if I invite you to take a look, to be curious about what Singapore is doing in this how they are designing this 2040 horizon, just for the sake of transporting people around the city island. Obviously, in the meantime, we will have black swans, we will have grey rhinos, we will have white whales, we'll have any kind of unhappening and unexpected things. I think probably I take that you are familiar with this concept of the black swans, like the pandemic, or the grey rhinos that you see coming in the horizon, but you cannot foretell what what they are actually doing. And confronting this unexpected, we will have some different replies, different leaders that neglect or overreact, or there will be unexpected things that we cannot predict now, but they will have a domino effect on what is coming after that. We were just 4 weeks ago, not celebrating, but remembering the September 11 and how that past changed the future, changed the way we still travel, changed many things, and we will see those eventual futures. Probably the future of Afghanistan was very different at that time, and not that the one they are having now. So, this is something that we have to manage. We do not have the reply for everything, and that's why we say that we cannot predict, we cannot anticipate every possible mishappening. So this change of era is going to be a utopia or a dystopia? Who I take that this is a very, very selective tribe, but I would like, who thinks the future is going to be better than now? Who is optimist in this audience? Okay, anyone who thinks it's going to be worse? It's going to be a dystopic future? It's not going to be. So okay, good. So maybe it's not black, it's not white, it's in the 50 shades of gray in the middle. So let's see if we can elaborate a little bit further in this. Well, and if what I want to say changed your mind, if moving from black to white or from white to black. Because some of the technologies that are already happening, and we saw this morning Javier's event with their dogs and their little robots, and some of the ones they show. Well, advanced robotics is already among us, and it's already part of the hype. These are serious magazines. I mean, it's National Geographic, Time, Wired, it's Economist. I mean, this is not a cartoons. And these topics are already part of the gossip, of the concerns of many people. The concerns because this is one of the pictures we are seeing. We are seeing that they are going to replace us, and they are going to take the human beings to do the most low considered jobs. I don't think this is the future, not at all. I think, but what I'm certain is that we cannot compete with robots. We cannot compete with algorithms. You cannot compete with somebody, with some algorithm, some machine that doesn't get tired, doesn't get moody, doesn't have a sense of smell, doesn't need to go to the toilet every 2 hours. So you cannot compete with them. So we'd rather get along with them. We'd rather understand them. We'd rather coexist with them. And if we are not going to compete, let's use our most human capabilities, all these soft skills, collaborations, communications, creativity, curiosity, critical thinking, resilience, empathy, all these things that robots so far they don't have. Eventually they will have something look-alike, but let's get some moment of that. I mentioned 3 waves. One is the ecology wave that is coming with this biodiversity, climate change, and plastics, and that this is an undeniable wave. But this comes together with an economy wave. And I like to put them like this to realize how connected they are. They are more the 2 sides of the same coin. We cannot talk about economy without thinking of ecology, and we cannot talk about ecology without thinking of economy. But I mentioned 3 waves. So we have ecology, we have economy, and the third one is technology. And again, they are all this part of the same word, of the same syntactic, of the same sentence, of the same value proposal, and we cannot separate them. Because either the combination of those is going to be the problem or is going to be the solution. I do believe that the solution for many of these ecological, economical problems is in technology. Technology has always created abundance, and digital economies creates exponential abundance. For me, innovation and sustainability, they are 2 words that we cannot separate them. They are intrinsically merged together. Innovation is sustainable or is not innovation, and sustainability is innovative or it cannot become sustainability. The way to put it short, I think Einstein did say it very, very more intelligently than me. We cannot solve our problems within the same thinking we used to create them. Most, if not all, of the problems we have in this 21st century were created by economic model, of extractive economic model developed during the first and the second industrial revolution, when we thought that the world was enough, that we have infinite resources, and now we see that we don't have those infinite resources. So we need to make something different. No, we need to apply innovation in order to solve all these problems. We need to get out of that framework that created those problems. And that comes to the SDGs I already mentioned. Rohit mentioned that. I take for granted that all of you are familiar with this. Probably some of them are seeing this device, this budget. This is not just for PR or look cool. I think we have to raise conversations, and we must raise the topic anytime we have and think about how all these goals can only be achieved, can only be successful through the use of exponential technologies. Exponential technologies that are so far these ones. Drones and autonomous vehicles, robots, virtual reality and augmented reality, already merged in extended reality, blockchain, additive manufacturing, so-called 3D printing, big data, DNA editing, genomics, photovoltaic is solar power, artificial intelligence, and Internet of Things. And I like to represent them with this Rubik cube, not only for the sake of colors, that in a way that probably the picture will stick better in your mind, but because all of them are related. All of them are combined. The key is to move the faces in order to align the different colors, the different technologies. For instance, to cut it short, drones or autonomous vehicles, they work because of the algorithms of artificial intelligence. And those algorithms of artificial intelligence work because they have big data. There are a lot of big data. And all those data lakes are being fueled by Internet of Things devices. Without Internet of Things, without devices connected to Internet, we wouldn't have data, and then we wouldn't have algorithms to work on artificial intelligence, and drones and robots wouldn't work. So, for instance, with the DNA, the genomics, we have the vaccines for the COVID. We have the Pfizer and the Moderna and the AstraZeneca and many ones. And actually, 1 year ago, the expectations were to have vaccines in 2 or 3 years, and we had them in few weeks. We had them in few weeks, and then it took months to manufacture, to make millions of doses, and to test them. But why we have so fast and so quick? Because of big data. Because there were being so many tests happening at the same time, simultaneously, and sharing all those data, and having algorithm models trying to sort what is working and what was working. So, and keep in mind that this is most of these vaccines are being called ARN. They are not the typical antigen-antibody way of vaccines, but they are actually altering or affecting the ARN, which is the basis of the DNA. So it's genetics and genomics matching with big data. So I don't know if you remember, you have seen this you're familiar with this monkey. This happened last summer. This monkey is playing that very simple video game with his mind, not with a joystick. And by the way, he's not blowing, he's just sucking banana juice. That is what turns him on. He's getting motivated by drinking banana juice, but he's moving the machine, using the machine with his mind. If a monkey can do that, imagine what can do us as evolutionated monkeys, or apes. And actually technology is helping us to do miracles. 200 years ago, if any doctor in this palace of medicine would have made this, probably he would have been burned in the bonfire as a wizard, because that was black magic. That's a miracle. Come on, stand up and walk. That's in the New Testament. That used to be called miracles. Now it's happening thanks to science and technology. By the way, probably you are not hungry. We are just after lunch. This is 3D printed meat. This is not, I see some faces like, whack. Anyway, this is not, they have not killed a cow or a lamb or a chicken who have to do this. This was printed, actually manufactured last July by a Spanish company. And the day before yesterday, I saw this company to print a 10 kilos, a 20-pound ribeye steak in less than 1 minute. And with real animal proteins. Sorry, non-animals, because no, it's not animal. With the same proteins of the animal, and they can produce. It might be, or I think it will be the solutions to starvation, to hunger in a totally sustainable way, and without bothering any other animal, without needing to burn the Amazon forest in order to plant more soy, in order to feed more cattle, in order to make more cheap hamburgers that are being sold for less than $1. This is, by the way, it's cocos, and they are also printing shrimps and prawns, and you cannot tell the difference between a real printer or with the one they are printing. Again, CRISPR DNA. This is an amazing. I think, well, yesterday you have here Liz Parrish, and you have Aubrey de Grey, and there's all this cutting-edge technology on editing our DNA for many reasons. I don't know if you have tried this, 23andMe. It's pretty amazing. Let me tell you how affordable it is today. You can just get into 23andme.com and they will send you a sample. It probably would cost you like $50, $60 or euros. And then you put some saliva, you send it back, and then you get a map of your, depending on which country you are in and depending on how restrictive the laws in terms of privacy and data and general data protection regulations, you will get a more in detail or not information. 2 years ago, for the anniversary of my marriage, I am so romantic, I asked her two per one. So I did it with my wife. I have 306 variants of Neanderthal genes in my DNA. My wife has only 250. This is a scientific explanation for why now she can tolerate some of my behavior that is more primitive than hers. And now, since that, we do not complain anymore for some primitive behaviors because it is in my DNA and I have a perfect excuse. So if you are just being curious to know how much Neanderthal DNA you have in yours, or just want to start building your family tree beyond 12 or 13 generations, you can do that thanks to 23andMe. But when I work on innovation, probably the biggest source of disruption is this one. It's not technology. Is demography, is the demographic winter. This is the Spanish one, but it's very similar to every European one. It used to be called a demographic pyramid. Now it's a demographic mushroom or demographic umbrella. And this is not going to change. This is not going to revert. And it's happening in Europe. Europe is we say asylum, is how do I say asilo in English? Asylum, but, huh? But asylum is, I don't say for the mad people, it's for the old people. Yeah, okay. Yeah, okay. Europe is the resident of the world. Spain is the resident of Europe. So this is a real serious matter. And thanks God, thanks to Cordeiro and La Muerte de la Muerte and these expectations of optional death, and thanks to the expectation of longevity, extreme longevity, I am very happy with that. But that creates big issues, economical and sociological issues in every country. This is happening globally. During the 20th century, we duplicated the life expectancy in every single country. Where it used to be 40, now it's 80. Where it used to be 30, now it's 60. But it was duplicated. And probably in the 21st century, probably we will also duplicate it or multiply it by 2 or by 3 times. Well, are we? This probably requires a new ethics, because who wants to live forever? Like in the Queens in the Highlander song. We all dream of this Benjamin Button, that we become younger and younger and younger and younger and fitter. I would love to live till 150, having the capabilities and the functionalities and the sexiness I had when I was 30. So, but that's a chimera or not. Think that, please bear in mind that every single religion in the world is built around the idea of having a reward in the afterlife and supporting enduring some tough days in this short life on earth for having a longer, better afterlife. Well, if I'm going to be living in this earth for the next 200 or 300 years, I might indulge some sins. And why wait? Why defer the recompense if I can have it here? Or think of marriage. I declare you husband and wife till death take you apart. 200 years together, there might be too many opportunities that we are missing. So there are many, or things like a real estate. You are waiting for that old uncle or old auntie to die in order to get their house, and well, this is going to live for 200 years. Well, I'd rather get some impatient to get that. So there are many economical and sociological needs that are linked to the short span of our life that are going to change as our span life expands. And economically, we're talking about the silver surfers. Silver surfers, well, I say a surfer, I already have some silver gray hair, but this silver economy, silver surfer is now they're pushing the envelope in every single In every single business. They were thinking about millennials, but the ones that have the money, they have stored the money, they have already paid their mortgages, are the old guys. And Procter & Gamble, Unilever, Johnson & Johnson, all the major manufacturers and retailers are establishing special lines for senior citizens, because it is the only demographic group that is growing for marketing's sake. So let me zoom all this. Okay, all this. What for? Look, I want to suggest you a model for a change of era with new ethics and new economics, and the productivity, currently the productivity in the world is very low. It's about $8,000 per person per year. If you take the 64 trillion gross national product of the world, it will be like roughly $8,000 per person per year. Why so little? Because we are wasting every day hundreds of millions of hours, because in every single country there are huge traffic jams getting to the cities, going to work. People take 1 hour, 1 hour and a half, 2 hours, going back and forth and polluting in cars in a nightmare, in a very daily nightmare, no matter which continent you are. And then we are spending, there are hundreds of ships crossing the oceans with plenty of containers, some of them half full, some of them almost full, some half empty, delivering those stupid little things that we are going to be for less than $1 or less than €1, little plastic things being manufactured, I don't know, in China, in Taiwan, in Sri Lanka, in Bangladesh, I don't care. And then we see that if suddenly one of those ships gets across in the Suez Canal, and then we have a big nightmare, because there are like $14 billion per day being lost because of this traffic jam of hundreds of ships on both sides of the channel. It happened this year in Suez Canal, it might happen in Panama Channel, it might happen any other time. Then we are seeing a health system that has been stressed to the limit, and even in the most advanced countries, like I can say even in Spain or in Germany or in France or United States, we have seen how the system has got stressed with this pandemic beyond its capability, and is not doing a very good job in keeping us healthy. We are extending our lifespan, but we are not improving our health. Then education needs an in-depth reinvention. We're still using the classroom. The classroom was invented in the first industrial revolution in order to train workers to do repetitive routinary tasks. Of those routinary and repetitive tasks are going to be done by algorithms and by robots that are going to do the dull, dirty and dangerous things. So unless the education teaches how to be more creative, empathetic, resilient, collaborative, the old model needs to be reinvented. And now we have all these massive online open courses, all these courses and all these new training. So what's the point of going to a classroom? And actually we have verified during the pandemic that you can learn a lot without going to the classroom. And then we have these low productivity jobs. There is always somebody south of the border willing to do it cheaper, no matter which industry, textile or many other ones. So this is not really self-fulfilling job. So, okay. On the other hand, the cost of living, the cost of successful living, the cost of a happy life is already established in $70,000 per year. Many people get more. It says that if you are below this, there might be some unsatisfying needs. Over this, that is just luxurious. So why? We like to have several cars, nice houses. We like to eat meat every day. I don't have nothing against, I am not a vegan, a vegetarian. I don't have nothing against having meat. Maybe you don't need to have meat every single day. Anyway, having hamburgers was not a problem when there were only 40 million Americans having McDonald's. Now that there are 4 billion, is a problem to satisfy all this hunger, this unnecessary hunger for meat. We are omnivores since the beginning. So we have also, pollution, that's doesn't need to get into that. Education, very expensive education. This is the MIT. The MIT, like I put it like the paramount of very expensive education. We all want to provide the best possible education for our children, and we want to send them to very, very expensive colleges, universities, high schools, business schools, and that's part of our artificial need for more cash, for more money. And again, as I mentioned, we are extending our life expansion with serious needs in the last stretch. And then again, it's jobs that are not really creating value. So, okay, how we fill this gap? This gap. Yes, I will be ready. I finish. Well, by using these smart exponential technologies, solar power that is infinite supply, imprinting locally our food, like using drones in order to deliver many things. What doesn't make sense is to have an 80 kilos guys in a 200 kilos motorbike in order to deliver a 200 grams pizza, where you can do it directly with a drone and without getting around in the roundabouts or in, having the car, the vehicle, the case connected, autonomous, shared and electric. That is already going on with Waymo. And with artificial intelligence and robots collaborating with us, if we do it right, we might, and using I learned this from Dr. Cordeiro, the nano-bio-info cogno convergence of materials, atoms, of cells, of biology, of neurons, of our brain, and bytes from technology. If we do this right, we might decrease the cost of living, not the quality of living, and improve the productivity exponentially. And if we do it right, and I have to use so many ifs because, as I told you, the future is not written, eventually, by 2030, we might achieve the Sustainable Development Goals. We might achieve the Agenda 2030, and then make this new operative working. I know sounds like wow. The Amara's law say that we tend to overestimate the effect of technology in the short run, but underestimate the effect in the long run. So maybe 2 years from now we will not be eating 3D-printed sushi, but probably we cannot even imagine what we'll be eating 10 years from now, or how we will be working or going to work. So intelligence is the ability to adapt to changes. I think, and we've seen all those changes. We need to get. It's a matter of Darwinism, of digital Darwinism. I like to close always. I wake up every day with this motto: when winds of change blow, while some build walls, others build windmills. And literally, I wake up every day with the winds of change song of the Scorpions. I don't know if it's familiar to you. I'm from the 80s. It helps me to wake up very smoothly, but it reminds me it's time to build windmills. Okay, so I asked you about this black or white thing. Some of you were in the black, in the white, were in the abundance, immortality, endless growth, universal basic income, singularity, human augmented. Some of them were in the more Netflix and Black Mirror territory, in the mass unemployment, low wages, economic crisis, environmental catastrophe. Well, this is the two antipodes of the extremes. Then we have some getting into the middle, the technological optimist with exponential technologies increasing productivity, but we need continuously upskilling and reskilling to keep update in order to beat all that fear of missing out. We have all those skeptics of productivity that acknowledge that we are seeing a stagnant advanced economies. It's a real thing. Growing inequality, climate change, huge costs, migratory crisis, demographic winter. It is happening. We cannot deny that it's happening. And then we have in the middle of these optimist realists that, we believe that this digitalization and exponential technologies can generate new waves of growth, that we are going to surf those waves, new jobs for those that are able to adapt, and that requires a big effort in reskilling and upskilling our people, our children, ourselves. We are going to be, even all the silver surfers, we are going to be working in jobs that do not exist yet. So now it's, okay, black, white, gray, where are you positioned, more or less? Same where you were before my talk? Have you shifted somewhere to the... No. Think about it. We can talk later during the coffee. I think we all should be interested, because in the future is where we are going to spend the rest of our lives. I mean, this is not from a great philosopher, it's from Woody Allen, but I still think it makes us think that we all, every one of us should put some interest in the future, because it's where we're going to spend the rest of our life. Thank you very much for your attention. And I wanna...
Thank you so much, Nacho. I have two predictions. The first prediction is that Nacho is going to be very popular during the coffee break. We won't have any time for questions now. We are right up against the next deadline. But you can find him in the coffee break, and hopefully we might be able to ask you even more questions in the cocktail dinner this evening in the garden, if you're still here. There are so many questions that your fascinating talk raised. My second prediction is that most of you will be back here at 5 minutes to 5. Why? At 5 minutes to 5, José Cordeiro is going to auction off something you heard about in these talks, a Bitcoin. So be back here 5 to 5. Why? Because at 5 o'clock we are going to space. We have a Nobel Prize winner who is going to talk about amazing things in searching for exoplanets. He is going to start at 5 o'clock exactly. Please don't be late. Thanks again to Nacho.
Thanks to you.